Hello. Merry Christmas. I'm bored. Which was to be expected. And it is here's nothing going on in our house. I'm bored and kind of depressed, and I want to paint. I want to motivate myself to paint. I'm gonna do this also after I make this video here, but I first needed to talk to someone. Hello. So yes, I was researching empaths, and I found videos that said this is the most intense empath, and the name for the most intense empath is Heyoka. And the word Heyoka comes from, I think, the Lakota Indians, and it means jester or clown, like someone who is outside society. And it's very, very striking to me that I've never heard before about this. This is the first time I came across these videos by the browser, the AI matching videos to my videos. So and it suggested those videos to me, and I said to myself, okay, this is probably more new age stuff, but I'm gonna check it out. And then so this one robot voice, there's a lot of robot voice videos in this subject also. I guess people don't want to be identified. They're too afraid of the Illuminati. Could find out who they are, and then who knows what they might do, these people, right? So that is conspiracy theory. Dismiss that. But anyway, so I clicked on this one video, and computer voice, and some computer voices are worse than others, and it is completely void of intonation or breaks or commas, but it's okay. And then they have a written translation also underneath. So why even use the voice, if you have a written translation? I guess the voice is for blind people and the written is for deaf people. So, but whatever. This one, even though it was highly commercialized and like new agey, like something you find in a new age store, like on sale or something, those types of videos. And they all copy one another. One writes exactly what the other wrote, and so on. It's all, I don't know who has come up with the original themes or the original identifications and characterizations. So I guess that comes from some books, whatever. But I still am grateful for these people to make these videos, because it's good for highly sensitive people to find something where they feel like understood, they feel like they can belong to those people, even though it's not a good thing to latch on to a specific group. It's not good for us. Okay, this is religionization again, so that's what we want to avoid. But I know that there's a lot of people like that out there, scattered, unfortunately, throughout the globe. And some have it much harder than others according to the location where they live. Can you imagine if I lived deep in the jungles of South America? I would probably be identified as a witch. In in Saudi Arabia, I would be beheaded. In Afghanistan, I would be stoned to death. So, unfortunately, there are still places in this world, right, who are way, way, way back in the past. Way there where the Europeans were 500 years ago. So, it's very unfortunate, and that's why our work is not done yet. You know, we have to bring attention to this, and we have to alert people and tell them that religion has to be stopped, you know, and don't fall for the scams. Don't fall for the mysterious catty ladies with their veil over their faces, in terms of, you know, it's pretty, you know, I wear the hijab, it's a fashion statement, it's pretty. I'm mysterious. Today I found a woman, a Muslim woman with a hijab over her face, no, completely covered her face like this, with a headscarf. And so I pointed that out to her, and she says it's mysterious. And that's why they call me Mystery. Oh, they call you Mystery? So I said to her, the ego always likes to be mysterious. Yeah, that's what the ego loves. If you're mysterious and other people can't read you, that gives you the impression and the illusion of being sort of having the upper hand in this conversation. Yeah, like my friend Rita, who said, when she never says anything in a conversation, people find her interesting. So it's the same thing. That's what the ego does. You know? The ego, that's an act out of the ego. It's one of the many act outs that are cold-hearted, in my opinion. Yeah. Someone who doesn't say anything, and that doesn't come from shyness, something that comes from the ego, from some kind of mind game playing. That person is not empathetic. That's not an empath. That's a stagnator soul. Okay, that's how we can recognize that very easily. And a woman who sells her shitty religion as a fashion statement or hides it behind that, so, you know, in order to fall between the grid, you know, so that way she thinks no one can point the finger at her, and no group can get her. You know, no group, one group cannot say, oh, you are a Muslim supporter, or the other group cannot say, oh, you're this or that. Instead, they say, I see you're just doing it for fashion. You're dismissed. You're exempt from our criticism. No, it doesn't work that way. Particularly not for the Heyokas. They see you. You better be aware of that. They see it all. They see all the ego trickery that is happening, you know, all these horrible, horrible attempts from Muslims, these sneaky little, they're trying to do the sneaky, the real slimy, sneaky ways, the sneaking into our society, you know, the sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. They dress as fashion, so old-fashioned, but behind that fashion facade is an ancient old Muslim rigid brain, a stagnator soul who is getting offended very easily. Just probe a little bit behind the surface, and you'll get very, very pissy very fast. Yes, okay. So, but don't give into it. Don't cater to this. Don't say, hey, yeah, you're cool with your hijab. Don't say that. the hijab isn't cool. There's a reason why we in the West here have a law against wearing a mask. Okay? Because people need to be identified by the police. You have to have your ID, if you do some bullshit, you have to show your ID, that has to be registered, what you did. It goes on your driving record, okay? You can't be wearing a mask or a headscarf or something. And it's also rude. I find it rude when I talk to people that are disguised. I also don't like masks in general, also for dressing up or some kind of Fasching or something in German, or Halloween or whatever. It's I find it rude, and it's quite dangerous actually. People who put a mask on, they actually get they dive into different characteristics of energy and mind. They actually dive into someone else. And it has happened. These people don't believe this, but it has happened. Yeah, they even change their body chemistry when sometimes when they completely transform themselves physically into something else. So, and with that sometimes comes some sort of aggression that wasn't there before, some sort of daring to do something that they wanted to do but didn't dare before, but now with a mask on they slip into another personality, or they feel like they can't be recognized. It's all very coward to do this, to hide your face, your true face. Yeah. That's why I'm saying, women in Islam who support that stuff and who hide behind these headscarves, and also people do it to blend in, to fit into this Muslim invasion, so that they're not being singled out. No one wants to be singled out. I'm making a video. Those people are very coward. You give into a religion, or any religion, right? It's any religious way of thinking is wrong in my opinion. But there are some religions that are pretty obviously very wrong, okay? Like the 3 Abrahamic religions are very, very, very wrong, okay? And we all see it in the news, okay? This is not hidden from us, from our view, unless you're in complete denial. We see on the news what Islam is doing to the world. We see it. I'm not a redneck. I'm not some kind of double standard type of accuser. I'm a straightforward accuser. That's what they call Satan or Satan in Hebrew. Have the courage to be Satan. Have the courage to be the accuser. Have the courage to be a Medusa. Have the courage to be a Heoka. It's almost poetic, but it's true. Have the courage. Have the courage to be you and be there, exactly there where you are in your personal development. Anywhere in the coordinate system of time and space. You are there where you are. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote a book. You are here, or I am here. I recognize that I am here. I'm sitting here in my office chair, on my table, on my sewing table. I have things to sew tonight. I want to continue painting. I'm listening to Bach and a cello player. Beautiful, beautiful piece. We are in contemplation. I loved Papa Dog a whole lot today. He's all mellowed out. Yeah. I recommend that to everyone. And the people who accuse me of being an accuser. What are they doing in that moment of accusing me of being an accuser? They're accusing, right? So right there we're having a double standard. Stop accusing people of being accusers and become alert and aware on your own. Watch society with an open eye, not with denial, not with this, oh, I want to keep my customers, this type of sentiment, because that goes backwards very quickly if you have that kind of sentimentation in your brain. You know, like, don't want to lose my customers, I can't say anything that could be politically incinerative in any way, because then I might lose a customer. It's always this customers über alles. So can we drop customers and all of this? Can we drop the greed? Can we drop the popularity craving? This fitting into parties. I'm invited, I want to be invited to a party so I can try out my new dress or something. Can we quit this? Can we become courageous to go hiking by ourselves? Hiking in nature. Can we become courageous to hear the sounds in nature? To hear what a bird has to say to us? Sometimes the birds come up to me because they know I'm not a violent person. They know I love them. They feel it energetically. It's a great compliment to me. That's when I know I have made progress in my own development. When the birds come up to me, that's when I know. And then I feel like, okay, the work I'm doing, it's worth it. It's worthwhile. Every day of intellectual loneliness, every day of this sadness and craving of being with other people, being with the populous body, as Friedrich Nietzsche called it. That's actually called Pöbel. I don't want to give you the exact translation of this, but it is something like the populous body. Pöbel, they're word related, so these two words. So for reason, populous. Yeah, popularis, being, people. Police. It's polyamorous. The poly multiplied over multiplied of humans out there. The public. These are all word related, all of them, etymologically. And sometimes a negative connotation came out of one of those types of forms, and sometimes it's neutral, and sometimes it's even glorified. So that doesn't happen in my vocabulary. I don't glorify anything that has anything to do with populous or popular or popularis, popular, police, poly, many, multi. I'm a very single, very lone wolfish type of person, and if I wasn't, I couldn't grow. There would be no way I could grow if I gave in to popularity, standards, fascism. Remember, fashion and fascism. Those are very closely related, those two words, okay? Fascism is that one form of living does not allow another. It's not tolerant towards someone else living differently. That's fascism. Bigotry is fascism. Being anti-gay people is fascism. It's very dangerous, very bad. Not hearing the other, not hearing why they live the way they do. Maybe there's a reason for it, a biological reason. Maybe there's hearing. Yes. Jiddu Krishnamurti said, "Do you hear a bird cry? Do you hear it? Do you hear a man cry in pain? Or a dog weep? Or a child cold in the dark? Do you hear the cries or the whimpering of an individual being molested, raped, physically or mentally raped? Do you hear it? Because you don't hear it, you cannot hear it. When you are diving into the denial of the populace, when you need the approval from someone else for your clothes or your makeup or your hairstyle or the way you talk, the way women hold their voices, specific voice expression. There are so many different voice expressions and nuances that tell me who is a lone wolf and who is totally cookie cutter adapted to society. And this adaptation to society and social expectations that only leads to more chaos and more suffering. And people don't understand this. People don't realize that they are involved in it, that they're 100% involved in the suffering. And I hear lately the Muslims accuse Western people of that. What do they not see what they are doing? Do they not see, even if they're not actively participating, they are supporting this violence? Do they not see this? If someone told me he likes bloodshed, later on I realized that guy is a Muslim, was disguised as a Christian. Because I asked him, do you mean the Christian God? And then he said, yes, the Christian God. He wrote Christian in small letters. So I think the regular Christian writes Christian in the C, in capital C. I don't know 100%, but those are the little nuances that sometimes give it away. Because Christian, that's a name on, not just because they worship that particular thing, but a name is supposed to be written with a capital letter. So Nicola is capital, with a capital letter. But maybe the guy didn't speak English 100%, but I don't know. But there are other clues too that made me think that he was a Muslim in disguise. So Muslims, sometimes they invest all of their energy and all of their intelligence. Sometimes they are quite intelligent, but in a cunning way. They put their intelligence into cunning. Can you imagine how much you could accomplish with your intelligence if you stopped cunning people? Or cunning yourself. You're really cunning yourself. That's what you do. The women in particular, they really are cunning themselves with the hijabs. What a traitors you are to your own bodies. My goodness. But the men too. You're traitors to your own bodies. You're traitors to life. And I'm not saying that now you're condemned. I'm saying this to wake you up. Wake up from this denial. Okay? Come out of the denial and understand that what you're doing is hideous and it is supporting a movement of violence and suffering. You have to understand that there is no devil. Satan is not devil. Satan is just means accuser. And we have the right to accuse. If we don't accuse, if I don't say to my best friend, what you're doing here is bullshit, I'm letting my best friend run frontally against a thorny wall and maybe get killed in the process if I don't say anything. So I have to say what you're doing here is dangerous. It is dangerous to yourself, it's dangerous to others. You're running against a spiky wall. Full force. Stop right now in your tracks and do a U-turn. Okay, then I'm called Satan for pointing that out. Do you see what I'm talking about here? I'm a messenger. You know that Jesus Christ was a messenger? Yeah, there's a reason why some people call him Satan. There's a reason for that. Because he too was an accuser. And so was Joan of Arc. And so was Friedrich Nietzsche. These figures were all accusers, indigo souls. They were Heyokas. Full force, they were Medusa Heyokas. That's why they were hated so much. Because the egos don't want to be exposed. The egos out there of stagnator souls don't want to be exposed to the truth. And that's very dangerous. I want you, living being, you have a brain, right? You use your brain to con people. You use your brain to, my husband, he used to play drums in a bar, and the bar owner and barkeeper was his best friend, and he told him whenever some people, like some mafiosi type of people, came into the bar, the only thing they were telling each other and laughing and having fun with was how many people they have ripped off over the days. That was basically, that was their sport, that was their hobby, and that was their profession, to con people, to rip people off. That's all they knew how to do, that's all they wanted to do, that's all the ego wants to do, and that's all their precious brain capacity, was everything there, was put into labor, into this field. Even though your brain cell doesn't want to hurt someone else, your body cells don't want to hurt anyone. Like I said it many times before, a hunter's body or brain cells don't want to hurt someone else. It is the ego. The ego is a mechanism to protect the child from hurt. So someone grows up thinking the world is just harsh. I need to do preemptive. I need to become harsh myself in order to protect myself. But that's not how we heal the world. We need to put more courage into this. We need to end that cycle of conning and destruction and endless robbery and endless bullying and hurting and raping, particularly mentally. That has to stop. It stops with every single person. You can use your precious brain into that direction. It's a conscious decision that you have to make. Yes? When you become aware suddenly in this process, what I'm doing here, when this thought occurs, what I'm doing here is total bullshit. Let me stop right here. I'm not going to go any further into the destruction. I'm not going to support the destruction in the world any further with any penny of my wallet, with any movement of my body, and with any word that comes out of my mouth or typed. Okay? I'm not going to do it anymore. Finished. I'm finished with it. Each person in the world could do this. We have the potential. You have the brain. You have the potential, even if you're retarded, even if you have an IQ of 60. If you listen to me, what I'm saying here, listen really carefully, you can become aware. And each person can, with their own abilities and their own capacities, each individual can do their part in this. It doesn't require a lot of money. It doesn't require any money, actually. You could be homeless on the street and you can say, I've had enough. I'm not going to walk away and leaving my trash there. I'm going to pick this trash up and I'm going to throw it in that trash can. It's my contribution today, right now. That's good. I give you a thumbs up on that if you do this. Or you see a suffering animal, you do not walk away. You do not look the other way. You stay right there with the situation. You go over there and you rescue that animal. I know a woman, she beat a guy up. Oh, and she's short. That is courage. She beat a guy up because he was beating his dog. And I'm not going to get into the details. It's really horrible. But she saw this. She was walking by there on the street. She saw that happening. No one else was doing anything to help the dog. She walked over there because she has compassion. Okay? She has huge compassion. She goes over there, she confronts him, and he becomes aggressive, and she defends the dog with her own body. Okay, so that's courage. That's what I want to see in the world. That's what I want to see happening. And when that is happening, when we are protecting other living beings, when we protect the environment, when we protect each other, okay, when we speak out and when we see injustice happening, like the Muslims writing their terrible Muslim faith on rocks, putting toxic coloring on rocks and spreading this everywhere around, that's when we need to say, no, don't do it. Don't pollute our environment with your faith-based bullshit. Don't do it. Don't put graffiti or toxic colors on natural rocks or on walls or on anything. Don't spread your egoic messages around. That's not doing anyone any good. That's just proliferating your own grandeur or what you think is grandiose or what you think your own. It's like leaving a scent mark, but much worse than that. Leaving scent marks is biology, it's necessity, and all this. In humans, it is an abnormal behavior of egoic signature, leaving behind, and coercion of other people to their own ways of thinking, sneakily trying to pry into other people's lives and changing them around and so on. I have no problem with the Christian being Christian, or even with a Muslim being Muslim, if he does not hurt anyone. I had many discussions on Facebook with many different people. Some of them seem to be, there are some Muslims that seem to be kind. I don't know them. I cannot judge over this. There's no way I'm going to come to a fast conclusion about it. I don't trust anyone. I'm sorry, I can't. How can you expect me to trust when there's a situation like this happening every day, where someone is exploding and running over people, or raping Swedish women and German women? There's no way. And I cannot possibly tolerate this. But I am willing to have serious conversations with people. I'm not gonna mock you for your religion, even if you mock other people or me. It's not done with mocking each other. Okay? The only way we can heal this, if we call each other out on each other's bullshit, if we point it out, if we clarify things in a humble and serious manner, not with sarcasm. That doesn't solve any. Sarcasm is a snarly, sneaky response, and very egoic and very cowardly. Okay, we need to dissolve sarcasm and irony and sardonic type of comments. That needs to all be completely recycled. You need to become humbled. You need to do straight talking with each other. Don't worry about someone else doing snarky. It doesn't matter. Be straightforward. If they cannot respond to you, if they are so insecure that they can't have a conversation with you, then let it go and move on. Talk to the people who are willing to talk to you. We can't force anyone to listen to us, but we can each walk our own path with honesty and humbleness. So that's what I want to see in the world. I want people to have the courage to contribute to the path of love that leads forward. Okay? Not sideways, not backwards, but forwards, through helping, through humbleness, through rescuing living beings, through standing up for justice. Okay, you guys take care. Bye-bye.